Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. So we got our red and green science automated. I just finished tool belt research. Let's pick the next one. Let's do advanced material processing. That'll give us steel furnaces, which are faster than the stone furnaces, so that later on we can upgrade what we're building right now. I've blueprinted down 4 more smelting lines for copper so that those are available. Although, to be quite honest, we're not going to be able to use those until we get more copper patches. Looks like there's one way up there. That's probably far enough away that we'll want to use a train. I mean, these iron patches are as well. So we're probably going to need trains before we're going to be able to get more resource patches brought in. I'm going to pick up the wreck site and get it out of our way. Because what I would like to do today is build a smelting line for steel. Because I'd like to start making some assembler 2s, and those require steel plates. Now, unfortunately, I didn't leave myself a whole lot of room. Let's prioritize the right side, again, to make sure our power plant gets fed before anything else does. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and add some more mining drills. This drill has a red light. That means it doesn't have anything to pick up anymore. So we'll pick that up, and we'll put a few more mining drills here. And we'll put one there. Whoops. There we go. And I'll just merge those together. Okay. Let's see how we're doing on power. Okay, we're doing fine on power. All right, that's done. Let's do engines next. Or actually, yeah, we'll do engines next. The research is going to go fast. Now, once you've won the game for the first time, or once you've launched a rocket, I should say, in your game, you will get access to the research queue, which lets you queue up, I think, up to 6 bits of research at a time, so that you don't have to constantly go in and select every single one. And there is also a way that you can enable that with a console command if you didn't pick it in the options when you start the game. But I'm doing default settings. By default, the research queue is not enabled until you launch a rocket. So we're going to have to do without the research queue in this game unless you guys tell me to enable it, and then I'll enable it from the console. Okay, I'm going to do fluid handling. Alright. So looking at our map, normally I would want to put the steel line next to the iron line, but I got my stone patch there, so there's not really enough room to put it here. Plus my power is kind of in the way. And I can't put it directly above the copper line because then I'm starting to run into this lake. So I think what I'm going to do is I will put a steel line over here going vertically, and then I can bring the belt around here and get it on the bus from that direction. Okay, after fluid handling, let's get trains done. Alright, so we need logistics 2. And then we'll get trains researched. And then, you know, like I said, right, we're already researching a lot of stuff that we're not going to use for a while, so it's not really necessary to do that. So we always have the option just to stop research for a while if we want to do so. Okay, so I'm going to leave room for 4 more belts of iron there, and we'll build our steel line up here. Okay, so we're going to start kind of like we do with iron. We're going to start with 24 furnaces plus inserters. So I'm going to copy this, and we'll use that as a starting point for our steel line. And I'll put it right there. And then the way that we're going to set this up is we're going to have 2 rows of furnaces right next to each other. So we're going to feed in iron ore and coal into the first row of furnaces. These are going to make iron plates. And then we are going to insert those directly into the next row of furnaces, which is going to turn those into steel plates. Okay, now the second row gets a little bit tricky, because in the second row we need to not only insert the plates, but we also need to get some coal into them as well. Right? So if we have a belt here where we're adding our steel plates, what we can do is we can put coal on the near side of the belt, and then they can pick up the coal from that to feed these furnaces, and then when they put the steel out, it'll go on the opposite side of the belt. Okay, so that's how we're going to set this up. So let's start putting in our inserters. Actually, before we do that, let's get the other side of this belt set up. So there's a trick to setting this up quickly. I'm just going to turn my inserters facing into the furnace, and I'm going to run all the way down the line, like that. And that way, when we put down these inserters, I can overwrite those 2 in the middle to point in the other direction, like that. And that way each furnace will have 1 inserter pointing in and 1 inserter pointing out. So the one pointing in will pick up the coal, and the one pointing out will drop the steel plate. So it's kind of a quick way to set this up. Okay, and that's the first half of the steel line. Now for power here, we're going to need to put the power lines outside of the belt. If we had researched steel power poles, we could use those to cover more area. Those would cover 3 tiles on a side. So if we put steel power poles here in the middle, they would cover the whole thing. But we won't have steel power poles until we start making steel. So that's why I just set it up the low-tech way. Or, you know what, I could show you that, because I do have steel plate that I made earlier. So let's do that. Let's research. We'll do it the cleaner way, let's say. So let's research electric energy distribution. And that'll give us access to medium electric poles. And then I'll show you how to set it up that way. I think a lot of people prefer that way. For me, it doesn't really matter, and I don't mind doing it the low-tech way. But we can do it the other way as well. So those medium power poles will need 2 copper plates, 2 steel plates, and 4 iron sticks each. Iron sticks are made from iron plates. So, all right, so let me go through here, and I'll remove these wooden power poles that I just put in. And we'll save those to use elsewhere. And then we'll set this up with the medium power poles. And that'll result in a little bit of a tighter build. Okay, and then when I do the other side of this line, I'll run a second belt, which again will have coal and steel. And then we'll do our 2 rows of furnaces on this side as well. I'm going to need more inserters, so let's go see if we can pick some up from our science line. I'm not buffering too many. Oh yeah, I am. I got 200. Nice. I'll take those. I'm doing fine on belts. Okay, so again, we're going to face inward, run all the way down. Oops. And then go down the center and overwrite the other 2, which will flip them around in the other direction. Okay, so now I'm just going to craft a bunch of those medium power poles. Now, the reason that we can go directly from one furnace to the next is that iron plates take 3.2 seconds to craft. Steel plates take 16 seconds to craft, but they take 5 iron plates. And so 5 iron plates take 5 times 3.2, which happens to be 16 seconds. So this is a perfect production ratio between iron plate and steel plates, because you'll make iron plates just fast enough to feed the furnace in front of it to make steel without having any kinds of backups or anything like that. Okay, so let's get our medium power poles, and as you can see, this covers a larger area than the standard ones. So I'll just place one there, and I'll just run down the line and let the game decide where they ought to be. And they also span a longer distance between poles, which is nice. So like for example here you can see you get an extra, let's see, well, you get an extra 2 tiles. All right, it's still 2 tiles in between the range of each, but because the range is 1 bigger per side, it's 2 tiles. Okay. And then we'll connect these to power, and for that I will just use the cheap low-tech power poles. There. Now we just have to feed it coal and steel. Okay, so we're going to want coal on the inside and the outside of these belts. And I think what I'm going to do there is I'll feed the coal. Yeah, no, that's okay. I'll run the coal down a belt like that. And then this one will pick up and place on this side of the belt, and this one will place on that side of the belt. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this a different way here. Okay, so this is like you've seen on the on the iron line and on the copper line. This is how we're going to get the ore and the coal on the same belt. I'm just improvising this part here for getting the coal on there. What would be a clever way to do that? To get on the outside of those belts. No. Okay. So let's do that. We'll just do it like this. No. There. It's not my best work, but it'll work. All right. So we need to bring the coal in right here. And we'll bring that from there. Let's pick another research. There's railway. And let's just make sure the coal goes where we expect it to. And then we'll bring in some iron ore. And let's set our prioritization here. Always making sure that line gets prioritized towards the power plant. Okay. That'll do it. Okay, and now we just have to get it some iron. Let's make some more mining drills. 10. Let's see, that'll be 15, 20, 25, 30. All right, and we'll see how many more mining drills I can get on this iron patch. That's 5, 10. Okay, so we're just about maxed out here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring this down. Let me make some more of these splitters. And I'll merge that with this one. Okay, these are being merged here. And then we'll merge those two belts there. One will go to this iron line, and the other one will come up here to my steel line. Whoops. There. So that's just about as much iron as we're going to be able to get out of this, which is why I want to research trains. Okay, so we got railway. Let's get automated rail transport. That'll give us automated train stations, and then we'll need the signals. And then we'll be pretty much set up to be able to get some trains set up so that we can go to some of these more distant patches. Okay, and now we are making steel. And then when the steel gets down here, we're going to want to combine them onto the same belt and leave the coal behind, right? And we can do that with our side feed trick. Whoops. No, I don't want to do that. So we can side feed that one and side feed that one. Okay, in this case, I'll just take it underground. There we go. And now we have a belt of steel. And I'll bring that down the side here. And then we'll run it past the copper line. All right, so we got 4 belts of copper. We'll have 4 belts of iron, leave 2 spaces. So I'll run the steel right there. Okay. So you'll notice this side loading that I'm doing that, and that's because the steel from the belt on the right side loads here and it ends up on the bottom side of this belt. So I can bring the other side over and just side load it onto the top. So that way this side of the smelting line is going on the bottom side of this belt. This side is going on the top side of the belt. Okay, and that gives us plenty of steel. And since this is going into 24 iron furnaces on each side, this will consume a full belt of iron ore, much like this one does. It's just that we're taking those plates and we're directly turning them into steel plates. Now there's another way that you could do this if you don't like the extra complications that come with that. You could take a smelting line like this one, and you could run it through to make the plates, and then you can paste another one right in front of it, and then take the plates, split it like this with coal, and run it down another normal looking smelting line like that. You could always do that to make your steel plates. Either way will work. Okay, we might as well do fluid wagons to round out the train research. And I would like to make a line to make stone brick. And we can make that over here. First, I'm going to need more mining drills. So let me grab some circuits and some gears. Let's load up some more copper plates there. How am I doing on power poles? I'm doing great on power poles. Okay, and I will move this line of coal there. Okay. I need iron plate. All right. So let's set up our mining drills. Yeah, let's move that over by one tile. There we go. I like them when they all line up. Okay. Now in the case of stone brick, stone brick also has a 3.2 second crafting time, but it takes 2 stone instead of 1. So for a full yellow belt of stone, rather than having 24 furnaces per side, you only need 12 per side to consume all the stone that's coming in, because you need twice as much stone. I'm going to get rid of some of this extra coal. There. Or you can just do 24 all on one side. And I think I'll build the smelting line here, so I think I will just do 24 on one side. Do I want to do it like that? No, let's do it this way. Okay, and I'm just going to change the direction of this belt. Okay, and again, set our priority so that the power gets fed first. All right, and what I'll do here is that, and then I'll put my coal on one side. And it'll put the stone on the other side. Oops. Okay. Now in this case, I don't want all my stone brick to be on the same side, so I'm going to split this in two. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So this will get half of the bricks on one side of the belt and half on the other side of the belt. Okay, or another way you could do it, perhaps a simpler way. All the bricks are going to be here on the right side of the belt. So you can put a splitter and then just do that. So half of the bricks will continue on the right side. The other half will come out this side and get put onto the left side of the belt. I just see one problem with this. The problem with this is that I'm restricting myself to half a belt from here. So I'm going to run out halfway down the line. See? Yeah, so this will be better if we do this the old-fashioned way, like we have there, where we have half of the furnaces on each side. All right, so I'm going to delete half of this, and we'll try this again. I'll pick up all the bricks. And then I'll pick up all the coal. So I hope you guys forgive me these little foibles and minor mistakes that I'm committing. I haven't played the game in a while, as I mentioned, so I'm not quite as sharp with it as I used to be. Okay, so we're going to do the standard way to get coal and stone onto the belt. Actually, we need one more. Actually, we needed two more. Okay. All right. And then these need to go in the opposite direction. So I'm just going to go over them again, pointing the other way. All right. That's one thing I don't like about the belts. When you run on them when you're trying to put stuff in position, it'll screw you up. Whoops. There we go. Okay. Now this will work. Because now I'm taking a full belt and then I'm splitting it into 2 half belts. Whereas the way I was trying to do it before, I was taking a full belt and I was putting it onto a single half belt. So I was never going to be able to move enough stone to feed all those furnaces. But this way I can. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of all this stone. I'll just dump them in the furnaces. Alright. And now we got tons and tons of brick that I can use to finish my path. Okay, and then I will feed this up onto the bus next to the steel. Whoa, I'm out of belts. I'll grab belts. I'll take half of the inserters. Let's get some more research going. Let's do oil processing. Okay. And now that we have steel and stone brick next to each other, we can start to accumulate some steel furnaces, which take steel and stone brick. Now, steel furnaces have a crafting speed of 2 compared to a crafting speed of 1 for the stone furnaces. So they work pretty much the same way, but they're twice as fast. So we'll put that there, we'll put that there, and we'll put that there, and I'll limit it to, let's say, I think they stack in 50s. So we'll make, let's say, 200 of them. Actually, let's put another one there so it goes a little bit faster. Yeah, not that I'm in a hurry, but why am I... Oh, duh, that's iron. That's not steel. There we go. So when we build the rest of these smelting lines, I'll probably just use steel furnaces instead. Now, since they're twice as fast, they will consume the ore and the coal twice as fast. Well, the coal I'm not sure about, but they will consume the ore twice as fast as the stone furnaces. So if you're going to make a smelting line that's the same length, then you have to use red logistics belts, which we've researched already. Let's see. Yeah. You have to use red belts instead of yellow belts because those can move 30 items per second. So the belts go twice as fast, the furnaces go twice as fast, and then your output belt also has to be red in order to take advantage of the increase in production. So later on we can upgrade this line, for example, by dropping in steel furnaces and then upgrade the belts to red, and then we just double our throughput of iron from the same line. And so that'll be part of our upgrade path later on. Or you could stick with yellow belts and just make the line half as long. But when I'm doing 4 iron and 4 copper, this is with the expectation that they're eventually going to be upgraded to steel furnaces and red belts. Otherwise, it won't be enough production to build the factory the way that I want to. All right, so now we can extend our path a bit. You do have faster run speed on the path, 130% walking speed, so it's a good idea to use paths where you're frequently moving. Okay, and then one more thing. If we look at the map, remember that I talked previously about having vision of the map due to the radar. Where is our first radar? Here it is. It's over here by the smelting. So that gives us good vision, but it only goes out to here. Now this part that I can see now, that's because I'm standing here. That's part of my normal vision. But if I were to move over, if I were to move over farther, that's going to disappear, right? And now I have part of my base that I can't see what's going on. So to fix that, I'm just going to make another radar, and I'm going to put it over here. That's another good use of this space between our building area and the path. And I'll move it down here. That should give me good coverage. There. Just checking my power. Okay, so now I can see all of this area as well. And there's our other ore patch, which has 1.5 million pieces of ore, which is a lot more than this one, but it's still not very big. So we're still not going to be able to fit a whole lot of mining drills on these patches. And there's our first alien base. So let's take a look at our pollution. All this red is where the pollution from our base has expanded. Now, normally the aliens will not attack us until they detect pollution. Pollution makes them angry, and then they will come and look for the source of the pollution. So, and that flashing red means that this is the next chunk that the pollution is going to expand to. So before much longer, this is going to trigger the biters to come after us. And we can proactively defend ourselves, a little bit at least, by making some turrets. And since they're going to be coming from the north, I can put a few turrets up here around the north side of the base. Look. They're coming already. And he's going to come after there. So I just shot him. I just pressed the space bar to shoot with my machine gun. But what I'll do is I'll put down a few turrets up here. And I'll just put a half stack of ammo in each one by control right clicking. And that way, when more come, hopefully they'll run into my turrets before they start eating my buildings. Okay, so that'll help protect us for a while. We could also go up here and put in some walls and turrets around the cliffs, but honestly, if we're going to run all the way up there, the better thing to do is just to go and take out the base. That removes the threat entirely. At least until a new one, until another base pops up around there somewhere. So, but this'll keep us temporarily safe. Eventually, as the pollution gets worse and worse, the attacks will get more and more frequent, with more and more biters involved, and you know, we're going to reach a point where we won't be able to hold it off with just a few turrets, and we'll have to build a wall around the base and put lots of turrets around it in order to keep the biters out. So, but that'll be coming later. So far, we've had a pretty peaceful start. I'd say probably more peaceful than than is typical. So we've been lucky so far. We've been building without too much trouble, but that'll start to change soon. So we'll have to be ready. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.